Alrighty guys, I'm going to try something a bit different for this video, and I'm going to record over what I did and talk through it. So what I've got here is a 4-boss normal speedrun, playing as the Ulvar, maybe that's how you say it, I'm not sure, the Wolf class, with the Greatsword Specialist and Berserker as my traits. That's the common meta for speedrunning at the moment, as a 17% damage upon staggering an enemy paired with the longsword's great natural stagger is just excellent early game damage. The Berserker pairs exceedingly well with Sevil's endless pockets, the gold armor basically, where you get stronger with more coins. It's the crazy damage boost if you can get the coins. The other item that's ideal in a speedrun is Skullbash's dice, or a couple of them if you get lucky, or if you abuse foresight. So what I did just then is I saw the foresight and I was like, okay, fingers crossed I can pick up a Skullbash's dice, which, spoiler alert, I do. But yeah, for most speedruns, now that the cards have changed a few of their elements, you've got the armor that you want is also from the Tuftar? I've really got to learn how to say all of the things. The goblins, basically. And so you want to try and steal one of those early. And so here I made the choice to go Skullbash's dice because I had the foresight. Typically, you would take the armor. If you see the armor first, you take the armor. And here I had a 50-50 at getting the dice a second time. And I took my 50-50 shot, because even getting the mana, especially because we got lucky and got a 4 mana there, it wasn't going to make a huge deal. I would have still been happy to take the mana. Now, the next thing with a lot of the speedruns now is you'll want to be using the fountains. There are 4 locations that I know of off the top of my head. I'm sure that there is probably another 2. I'm assuming that there's 1 fountain per region. However, I have not confirmed that with anybody, and I'm not sure whether or not that's 100% correct. But the fountain's offering you the luck until you draw a legendary card. And that's important wording, because the draw a card is not the same as for your chests. So what I did to start with is I didn't play the card in case in this next part I picked up, I did my draw and then got a legendary card. I would not want it to be wasted. I didn't, and so I just decided instead to play it anyway, because I was about to start opening chests. And in hindsight, I probably should have opened both of those chests, but we do come back for them later. Because with the skill tree, you get so many extra keys. So I think I start with 3 keys. Or 2 keys. Done. Here's a... Nobody saw that. Didn't lose myself the couple of seconds that could have actually been the sub 15 there. I'd actually forgotten I did that. I'm just rewatching this for the first time now as I commentate across it. Might make it a little bit more fun, maybe. If you've enjoyed this type of commentary over the speedruns rather than the dodgy music that I get, or the royalty-free music, I guess, not dodgy. Some of it's alright. I can do it this way instead for future speedruns. So because I got the lucky tier there, like that was also a good, a very good RNG part. I wouldn't normally even go for the tier. Once you've got a couple of things, you don't even need the tiers anymore. Provided you kill the bosses. And here we picked up another Skullbashers. So now with 3 of them, they stack multiplicative. No, well, this is where I decided that I was going to play my luck anyway, and then it wasn't going to matter because I needed to get the chests open. So with the urns and the skill tree, you can pick up, I think it's 80 gold if it's fully unlocked. But yeah, again. And then you've got your potted riches, which is a very handy one. Despite myself and Pixel thinking it was garbage to start with for speedruns, once you learn a few of the locations that they're going to be at, it's not so bad. That was also lucky, the foresight onto 4 mana. I'd played a lot of cards prior to that. Not sure what the math is on that one, but it was probably a 1 in 6 or 7. Yeah, so the potted riches, when you do them at the Tufta, we're just going to call them goblins because I feel like I'm butchering how to say it. They'll always be on the coast, either behind or in front. And so if you'll see me try and stick my head up a couple of times just to get an idea roughly where they are. Again, in a situation like that, you could have taken the draw cards for a better chance, but I decided against it because I didn't want to lose my luck as I'm opening up these chests. Now, I'm not sure if that's intended, that the luck should also count on the chests, as in go away upon getting a legendary card, but yeah. We'll find out if they end up nerfing that or not. It was at this stage that I knew that the run was going to be 100% good, because I'd gotten all the items I needed, or the 2 items that I did need, and in fact had 3. And so this is where I decide just to open up all my chests that I can. I did lose a spot, which does hurt, but isn't the end of the world because I already had more than enough Skull Basher dice. And so here I can see where I need to go for my pots of gold. And then I picked up another one, which is excellent. That's potted gold. Pots of gold is a DRG reference. For anyone who hasn't played Deep Rock Galactic, fantastic game as well. Maybe shouldn't be plugging a different game while I'm talking about this one. But if you're into multiplayer co-ops, that's one I also have a heap of hours in. But yeah, the basis for most speedruns is the build-up of your what are they? Vessel. Vessel is the word that they use, isn't it? And so here I could have taken the foresight, but it made far more sense to unlock that stagger dice, seeing as that I'm not sure how much gold I had at that stage, but it would have been worth the 50% extra stagger over a potential another card, especially seeing that I didn't have it unlocked anyway. Here, I know there is a trick for doing some movement faster. I did try it in a minute. Niffin showed it on his Twitch stream, and it works well for those that aren't the Ulvar, because they don't have the extra bonus speed. But yeah, apparently the characters do have different bonus traits, but the only one that's noticeable is the fact that you run super quick when you're a wolf. So do that, basically. It's if the others had an easier trait to notice, I probably should find out. But they did mention once that there's supposed to be slight differences between, outside of just visually different, and their passives, obviously. I did try this my first couple of runs as the human, as I wanted to just try and use the trait for getting gold, as I felt like that might be an easier way to pick up gold. So whenever you destroy a card, you get gold. So just as if I couldn't get enough gold, then I had it like guaranteed. However, I was finding that the slow movement and not being able to do jumps like that just really hurt the run's chances. Because over time, the amount of speed or time you lose because of not being able to sprint and do cool jumps is just huge. You know, the next part was me trying to figure out what warden I was going to go for next, because I saw how much damage I had done to that one and how much stagger I had, so I just decided to send it and run straight to the next couple of wardens and didn't even bother picking up any additional cards. Often you might try and hunt down a multi-strike, which would make a run far superior as far as damaging the boss wise. Like if I had a multi-strike instead of one of the stagger dice, it would melt in, well, faster than it already does. But the time it takes to try and guarantee a stagger die, a multi-strike can be the savior of a run by saving your time, or it can be the complete ruiner of a run and you lose, basically, because you spend too much time trying to get the RNG. Which it is a little bit easier now with the additional luck until you draw a legendary. And as you can see, the stagger, especially given I've got 1,000 coins at this point, is just ridiculous. On top of the dice. I know Niffin was saying that they want the game to not be just coins and win, and to actually have to use like the focus and use the cards and synergize in a way that is more engaging, I guess. Because this is quite I would call it maybe a boring way to play. It's fun for a little bit, but it's not going to keep people playing for long. And by having card synergies, that is a far more fun way when you make a build that is using the different card synergies when you do get the RNG to get them, which is why I do think deck building would be a great part where you can actually build the deck, not to have all of the cards that you want, but to have a higher chance, so that you've got more willingness to play different builds if you can build a deck around a specific way. Because quite often you'll go into a game wanting to go in one direction, and if you don't get the cards for it, you then find yourself hunting them down or getting frustrated at RNG. Now, typically I don't like fighting the Gale's boss, because I find that if she hits me once, I die. But given I got so lucky with everything, it didn't really matter in the end. Like, you were able to do so much damage with the stagger. On my world record run for the 6 boss clear, I also got super lucky and picked up the longsword, which does double damage to when they're staggered. And so between the two of stagger dice and that, as well as the longsword, it was always going to be a little bit easier. That run was still difficult because you pick up a lot more hatred when you're trying to do a longer run. And again, I spend most of my fights face tanking. At this point I knew I couldn't get the sub 15. There's a lot of places where I could have made up the 40 seconds, like that big mess up at the Goblin Castle was huge. And then I think even going to the Warden at the Goblins, I lost a fair bit of time. But outside of that, there hasn't been a huge amount of places to save some time, other than be better at dodging. Again, playing on keyboard and mouse I don't think is the ideal way of playing this game. but I don't play with controller, and I think I'd actually be worse if I did. Or at least now, I'd take a lot of getting used to. I do find that the Betrayer seems a lot easier than either the Troll thing. For me personally, I don't think it does as much damage, or stagger, but I don't. But again, I do just face tank a lot. But no, you can see that the pure power of the staggers, it's probably going to be nerfed, but please don't nerf it. It will make speedrunning so much slower. Yeah. At this point I was just trying to get the sub 16. And there you have it. That's your sub 16 full boss run.
No evil is ever truly defeated.
If you like this method of watching or just listening to how it plays out, the thought process, there'd be more thought process in a different speed run, obviously, because you make changes on the fly as you're running, depending on card RNG and things like that. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, or don't. Not your mum. But that's it from me. Until the next one. Maybe speedrun the harder difficulty.